John Bower, in the meantime, is starting to draw away just a little. The forwards looking strong here at Symmons Plains as John Bower heads down through the sweeper. He's leading over Glenn Seaton. Thomas Mazzera in third. Birthday boy Brock is in fourth. It's Jones, Crompton, Gardner. Longhurst up to eighth. Richards is ninth. And young David Attard in the Alcare car is up into the top 10. So things not looking pretty good there. They've got a lot of steam coming out the front maybe, and he's had a crumple as well, so that's maybe happened down there. Let's go down to Andy, who's with Dick Johnson.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mike. A very disappointed Dick Johnson, and why wouldn't you be? All was looking so good.
Oh yeah, it's just probably the nature of the racing that's happening, you know? Because like I got a hit up the backside from Scape, which shoved me into from Seaton, and that pushed me into Scape and just put a hole in the radiator.
Everything's going to be okay?
I sincerely hope so.
So do I, Dick. And just as we say that, Jim Richards has just entered the pits in the Winfield second car.
Let's check him out on the Shell race score. John Bower's the race leader, just over Glenn Seaton. Thomas Mazzera runs in third. Peter Brock is now up to fourth, and Alan Jones is fifth. Here's Tony Longhurst, who Andy spoke to before the start of the race. Started dead last. No qualifying time assigned to Tony yesterday. They were rebuilding the car. He's done a fabulous job. He's come up from position number 17 and is now 8th on the racetrack.
As we take GIO race cam on the back of Neil Crompton's car, this is the car running in 6th position at the moment with the team boss Wayne Gardner in 7th. And great view there of the speeds achieved, about 225 kilometres an hour as they come down toward this hairpin. Very, very tough on the brakes, as we've said.
He feints to the inside, but now I think the boss has an opportunity to pass there. They're also in company with Mark Scaife, who's been in the pits and back out again, and not motoring all that quickly, but Mark stays out of their race and lets them get by.
Coke team have done well here. It's a tough race. They had to have a strategy, and to run two cars in equal position like this is a credit to them. They haven't been in the pits.
Well, we've got right down to the payday here, and the times, the gap between Seaton and Bower is hovering. Closest they've been so far is about a half a second. Now it's out to 6/10, so Seaton really, really struggling now to just make up that crucial half a second buffer where he can have a go at Bower.
I think he's found Bower the other way around. John has found him and is just answering the challenge and saying, come on, get me if you can. And Glenn really hasn't been able to bridge that last half a second. It's a long way up onto the back bumper bar of John's car.
Well, they got the headlights ablaze as we count down the final few laps of race number 1, round 2 of the Shell Touring Car Nationals. What a race it's been so far, and there's no guarantee that John Bower's going to win this. He's in the box seat, but Seaton has eaten a lot out of that lead.
JB's luck may well be changing. I mean, he really had a lot of thought about going for this harder tyre as opposed to his teammate Johnson. He wasn't sure which way the weather was going to go, whether the softer tyre would hang in there, whether the hard one wouldn't give him enough speed. But boy, it's paid off here. Looking at his lap times, he's matching these Bridgestone shot cars lap for lap. Very quick, very consistent times. And maybe his luck is turning at home at last.
Well, we hope so.
So 34 laps, 3.5 laps to go here. Seaton will be starting to run out of options as they peel these laps off Bower. Very much in control, and there's Alan Jones trying a bit too hard over the back part of the circuit. Under brakes for Coca-Cola corner. No, it's Seaton.
Yep.
It was Seaton.
Yeah, must have just put a wheel off, and once he got in that soft soft sand at the edge of the track, he was gone.
There's a bit of pressure driving for you. He must have been absolutely on the limit, Alan, trying to just find that 3 or 4 tenths he needed, and just overcooked it under brakes in the Coca-Cola corner. The pressure comes off Bower. Goodness me.
Look at the dust blowing out of the back guard there, still blowing out of the wheel wells. But he recovered nicely, and that's always nice when you can make a mistake and still recover.
Well, well.
That's moved Thomas Mazzera up to second on the road as Glenn Seaton tries to bring it all back together again and go back for a finish. And Brocky is only 1 spot back behind him.
That leaves Thomas Mazzera in 0.15 up into second position, and it's a good result for the Holden Racing Team Mobile guys.
Well, everybody works hard all weekend, and sometimes qualifying times don't show the true potential that the team has really built into their cars, and it is nice to see the mobile team get up there and do better here in this first heat.
2 laps to go. Order's still the same at the head of the field. John Bower, the Shell FAI Falcon, with the pressure off just a little now. We follow Mazzera in the 015 Mobile car running in second. There's Glenn Seaton behind him with the headlights on. And back one spot behind Seaton is Peter Brock, then Alan Jones. Well, there'll be some thinking going on now about tyres in the second heat. Bow really has done a great job. He's probably picked the Bedrock specials to suit here today, and whether or not they're strong enough, I take Alan's point that they probably took a couple of extra laps to get the heat into them, and that's why Johnson was all over him like a crook suit.
Well, the Dunlop teams, after the earthquake disaster in Kobe in Japan, have been starved of tyres. They've really had to be very sure about which tyres they pick for a weekend. John actually had a set of these tyres left over from their Bathurst win last year, and he put them on at the best time.
Tell you, I take nothing away from Thomas Mazera.
Well, John Bow, yep, you think he's backed off. He's up into the high 57 bracket now, and Mazera running in the mid 56s. So Thomas still having a real go here. And the car, obviously, he said yesterday after practice he was very confident in his race package, and he's proving it here on the final lap of this first heat.
Well, Bow gets out of the hairpin as he works the back sweeper for the final time. Thomas Mazera gained a lot of ground, probably a lap or so back. But distance is going to beat him. I think JB will be very satisfied with his performance here. He had to withstand a 5 or a 6 lap challenge with Mark Scaife and team leader Dick Johnson. As he heads on in, the lights are ablaze, and coming down now to take the checkered flag for race number 1 is John Bow. There's Thomas Mazera very close at the finish for second, and across the line for third was Glenn Seaton. Here comes Brocky. He finishes back in 4th spot, and Alan Jones will round out the top 5. And checking them out for you on our Shell race score, John Bow, the race winner in the Shell FAI Falcon. Thomas Mazera placed second. Glenn Seaton was third. Peter Brock came up to 4th, and Alan Jones was 5th. 6th spot went to Neil Crompton in the Coke Commodore. Team partner Wayne Gardner finished in 7th. Tony Longhurst, a great drive in the Castrol Falcon. He finished in 8th. David Attab in the Alcare Air Conditioning Commodore was 9th. And John Trimble rounded out the 10.